Welcome to A Place for Seniors, where we share the real truth about what seniors need. This podcast features honest, heartfelt conversations, the ones we don't always have, but matter the most. Here, we share real stories and simple insights about aging with dignity, choice, and autonomy. Together, we bring what we've learned from over 20,000 conversations with seniors and their families, guiding you through some of life's hardest decisions. We invite you to listen, learn, and prepare with us, because these conversations matter and the choices we make today shape our tomorrow. Hi, I'm Allison Carman with A Place for Seniors, and today I have Tracey Lundgren, who I've known for years and has been in this industry for 36 years. So she's a plethora of knowledge, and I can't wait to get into it because some of the things that I don't even know you're going to probably tell me about. So, Tracey, I kind of always want to start with how you got into the senior living. So kind of, because we all think that this is, or at least I believe, a lot of us, the good ones in this industry, have a calling to be here. We have a reason to be here, and that is to see other people do better in their lives as they age. So what brought you to this?
Absolutely a calling. You are right on track. Actually, as a young teenager, my grandma went into a assisted living, and it wasn't, it was her choice. It wouldn't have been my choice, but she was very, very happy there.
Was that here? Or?
It was in Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, in Canada.
In Canada.
Oh, okay.
But the best thing about it was the people. And what I noticed was, even though she had a very, very small space and was very limited.
So like a studio apartment?
Apartment.
Can just imagine the studio with the kitchenette.
Absolutely.
Right. And the bathroom.
You got it. And a little bed.
A little bed.
And pictures of us everywhere.
Yeah.
And every time someone came in to her apartment when we were visiting, someone said something to her about her pictures.
Oh.
And made it very home-like, made it a family. And I thought that's how it should be.
Uh-huh.
And so when I started my career, I started in acute care, and everything kept pulling me back and pulling me back.
Acute care. So what do you mean by acute care?
So I actually was in healthcare administration. So I was in large hospitals.
Okay.
Did a co-op program through University of Sick Children's Hospital in downtown Toronto, and went into psychiatric hospital.
Wow.
And kept getting pulled back to senior living. And when I moved to the Phoenix area, it's where the career started.
Wow.
So, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was truly a calling.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've worked in assisted livings and independent livings, and now you're at skilled nursing,
geriatric psych, and rehab centers.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all of the above across the board.
Wow.
So
yeah. And what would you say is probably one of the better environments that you've worked in?
Maybe
all of them, but
they all have their pluses. Yeah. Absolutely, they do. You can really affect people's lives in all of them. The community I'm with right now, Maravilla Scottsdale, is absolutely beautiful. It is an incredible culture of the residents that are there, but it is probably one of the highest level of care and
I always say it's the best,
the culture,
some of the best assisted living and memory care you can find.
Absolutely.
Not only in Scottsdale, but in the Valley.
Absolutely.
It is literally,
it really
and
is.
we always look for that because we want the confidence to be able to say, hey, that you can go here confidently. Your parent will be okay.
They will be absolutely well taken care of. You and I, we had a situation that, there was dietary concerns, there was care concerns.
Are you talking about the sisters that placed their mom?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And, that was a situation where the mom was living with one of the daughters, and the daughters couldn't care for her any longer.
So that daughter was using a walker, could barely walk. She could barely walk. She wasn't that. I don't think she's as old as I am.
No, absolutely she wasn't.
But she could not care for her mom anymore.
No.
And the other sister was working quite a bit. And,
a lot.
And she was always working. So, and they were just distraught.
Absolutely.
of where they were going to take their mom. And it was a very, we had to have a lot of patience, but we also had a lot of empathy with understanding that she was really, really, really worried about whether her mom would be taken care of okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
a lot of guilt, right? Because she could not take care of her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the daughter actually needed a little more help than the mom.
Yeah, actually, you're probably right.
You know, physically,
yeah.
but you know, we made such a difference.
Yeah.
You and I as a team, you know, we supported them. And you know, I think they truly felt like they had a big hug around them when they came in. And it was amazing.
How did the mom do?
Wonderfully.
Yeah.
She absolutely did wonderful.
Yeah.
The daughter was able to come and visit. And actually, when she would come visit, they would have meals together.
Oh.
And it actually, I think it helped the daughter kind of get a little more strength and get some meals in her. And,
good.
So it,
good.
You know, besides
I never
the
see
care,
the after effects. So I get them there. I should see more of them, but unfortunately I'm working with the very next client, right? But you get to see the whole
I get to see the smiles.
thing. Yeah.
I get to see the smiles.
Yeah. And the health, getting back to health and feeling better and feeling and I think we both know that when you have good care, the stress goes down.
Absolutely.
Right. And I want to emphasize there are places that are good care, better care, and even the best care. Right.
Yes.
So those are the people we work with, you know, and we want to always try to get the very best in that socioeconomic, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And usually care is number one, right? Because how scary was it for her to place her mom there? I just remember her just almost having panic attacks with us.
Yeah. I think the first time we met with them, you and I sat in an apartment for about 2.5 hours with them.
Right.
And shared and
we had looked at residential homes and they did not feel that was comfortable for their mom. That she was too alert and oriented and she needed something with more activities and you know, like a meal, like she could go down and order off a menu and things like that.
Yeah. Our CARF accreditation at our community.
CARF accreditation. Yes. That's a very unique accreditation that your corporate company, it's a senior resource group, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, we're the only company in the state of Arizona that has it. It's about 1,400 standards over regular accreditation have been met.
And for our listeners that don't know what that means, every assisted living is has to have an assisted living license, right?
Correct.
So the state comes in and does an inspection.
Correct.
This is an independent company that does the inspection, but it's 1,600 more points than what the state looks at. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
And it costs, of course, Senior Resource Group to do this.
Absolutely.
And it's a pretty penny.
And it is mandatory to all of our communities with Senior Resource Group. And it's something that, as someone that's been in the business a really long time, it really does matter. Yeah. And when I talk to families, they say, you know, what does that mean? And I say, it's the feel. Here's what you're going to feel. Yeah. When you're in it, it's all programs, it's staffing, it's wellness, it's dietary, it's all. Well,
they even interview the families.
Yeah.
That's not, the state doesn't do that.
No, we do families, residents, and staff.
So then they go to even the caregivers and they say, how do you like your job?
Right.
What's going right? What's going wrong?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, it makes a big difference.
It does.
It makes a big difference.
You see it in those communities.
Absolutely.
It is very much of a differentiator.
Absolutely. And our assisted living and our memory care is part of our very large independent living. But what a nice continuum to offer for our independent living residents.
Right. Now, you're considered at Maravilla, and I just want to give some differentiation here for people that are listening. There are places that are called CCRCs, which is Continuum Care Retirement Community.
You got it.
CCRC. And what that means is, in a lot of people's minds, that's a buy-in. And what a buy-in is a hefty upfront fee that could be $500,000, $350,000 to $1 million that you purchase a insurance product. in many cases.
In many cases.
Right. But in your case, you're not purchasing an insurance product.
Correct.
Right.
Our pricing is a little differently.
Right.
You don't pay upfront for the continuum of care for assisted living or memory care.
Right.
If you choose to go into a memory care or our assisted living on our property, it's your choice.
Right.
It's not us saying it's now time for you to go.
Whereas in a traditional insurance product, they can actually insist on you moving from your independent living apartment into their assisted living.
They're governed by a board, and it is an insurance product.
Right.
So that's just how their model is.
Right.
Ours,
a lot of people, they call it buy-in, and they think they're buying something. They're buying an insurance product.
Right.
But they're not buying there's no deed transfer.
Same as our community.
And you still pay a monthly rent.
Yes, absolutely.
All of those things.
Yeah. It's quite different, but it is a really comfortable business model for a lot of people because they're given the choice to move if they choose to.
Yeah.
They can stay in their independent.
They own care.
Absolutely, all the way through they progress in their journey. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is a nice product to represent, aside from being beautiful and right next to the princess and everything.
It definitely, I mean, it's a high-end product.
It is.
But there are also other communities that start out with independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And those are not necessarily a hefty buy-in.
Correct.
Right. Or what we call a upfront fee.
Or an entrance fee.
Entrance fee.
Right.
Right. So I think a lot of people get confused at on those products. But for years, you didn't work in a CCRC.
No, I've worked everywhere.
Yeah.
I've worked in all different types of situations.
One of my favorite communities was in Mesa. And I think I talked about somebody about this, was that that community has people that have worked there for 18 to 20 years.
Yep, absolutely.
And it pretty much runs itself because they all know their job so well.
Absolutely.
It's just like a fine-tuned machine.
Yeah, that's where we first met.
Yep,
and
one of my favorite ones.
That community is
modest and
absolutely, and one of our sister communities now is a very similar type feel. I say the communities vibrate a little bit with the buzz.
They do.
They've got great activities. They've got great staff. Like you said, there's great longevity.
Yeah,
they're a rental product, so people can
difference
transition.
Between a buy-in and a rental.
You got it.
Just a lot of people don't understand these. And you don't have to know it. When you come to a professional like myself or Tracey, we'll explain it all.
Absolutely.
And we'll keep explaining it until it is understood. And I've explained the CCRC concept many, many times. They still think they bought something.
I know. Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean,
they bought properties.
Yeah. And you and I have worked with so many different people. You know, we also worked with the gentleman and his wife that came from Hawaii.
Oh my gosh.
And
Can we tell that story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I happened to be in the hospital at the time.
Yes, you were, because I could hear the beeps in the background. Yeah,
right. And I had a friend of mine staying in the hospital room with me, my advocate. You know, always advise having somebody in the hospital with you. And so she's sitting there. She goes, "Allison, what are you doing working?" I'm like, "Well, they're calling me. I've got it." So I take this call. This gentleman is calling. He goes, "Allison, this is what I want." I said, "I think I have the perfect place for you." He goes, "Okay, I'm ready." He told me exactly what he wanted. I called Tracey, right? And I'm like, "Tracey, get off the Zoom call you're on and get on with me.
I need it." Yeah.
Right? And we did a 3-way call with him.
We did do a 3-way call.
He's in Hawaii. I'm in the hospital and you're at the community.
And I was at community on the Zoom. And I remember the first thing he said to me, "Well, what's really important to me is a sequential view." And as a sequential view. And all of the years I had been in the industry, I immediately said, "Okay, sure, no problem." And I thought, Tracey, you better back up and ask him.
What is that? And what do you mean by that?
And he said, I want a courtyard, I want clay roofs, and I want
that's
mountains.
your community.
And that was our community.
Oh, wow.
And we happened to have one unit that had that sequential view. I went up, I took video. I think I called you that afternoon and said, "I think we're good.
I think we're good."
And they moved in sight unseen.
Right.
They were incredibly happy.
Yeah.
He has since passed.
His wife is still alive?
His wife is still she's now transitioned to our assisted living, doing exceptionally well. And I remember when they first got to the community, he said, I'm so glad we made this choice because no matter what happens to either of us, we're where we want to be.
Wow.
And I know that we're both okay. And it wasn't long after that he had passed.
I often wonder if they don't have a feeling.
Yeah.
He wanted to get his wife settled, right? He wanted to get her somewhere where he knew she'd be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that both of my parents felt that way about each other. Like my dad really wanted my mom to be okay. And he also wanted my younger sister to be okay.
Right.
And before he passed, he had to know that was all okay.
Yeah.
And then he was okay to go.
Yeah.
It's really, we're around it so much. We're around end of life so much. We kind of take it for granted sometimes that other people aren't. It's more kind of a shock, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
But we're around it so much. Also, I want to tell another story because I had a gentleman who, for another business reason, we happened to start to do business with each other. And he was describing to me his dad, who was 80, fully cognizant, right? In a residential care home. Now, residential care homes, for the most part, they can be okay for somebody that's fully cognizant. But for somebody that's 80, that to me and you, that's young, right? Yeah, that's absolutely young. So he's in this residential care home and the bathroom was so small that they couldn't get him because of his inability to maneuver. They had him in a brief and going to the bathroom in that way rather than getting him on the toilet because it was small, not because he couldn't. And the more he was talking to me, the more I just felt absolutely compelled that this was not okay for him. Right? Ooh, wow, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
Wow. But that was not okay. So I brought the son over to you and I said, Tracey, this is the situation. He loves Hallmark. He loves going down and having salmon every night. He was having Costco pot pies, paying quite a pretty penny for that residential home. But he had found a referral agent who said this is the only place because he had actually been asked to leave an assisted living in Scottsdale because he couldn't walk as well. Right. So it was going to take two person assists. And because of that assisted living said, well, you're going to have to leave. And the referral agent said, well, the only place I know is a residential home. Right. Whereas I know that's not the case. Right. In your particular assisted living, I knew you could go all the way to a Hoyer lift, which means somebody cannot move at all. They can get them into a apparatus that lifts them out of the bed, wheels, puts them in, drops them into a very easily. One person assists, one person doing this. And his son just couldn't believe it, right?
Yep.
And we got him in there and he was there for 6 months, right?
Yep.
And then he aspirated and he passed away. And it was last summer. And I was just devastated that he had passed away. But his son said to me, Allison, you gave him the best 6 months.
Yeah.
Because you did that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he went down every night and had his salmon.
Every night, He
ordered off his menu. That's all he wanted. He wanted to be able to sit in a restaurant, converse with people, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yep.
Right? And then watch his Hallmark, I can't remember. Oh, wasn't it race car driving or something?
Yeah, NASCAR.
NASCAR. He liked his NASCAR. And
Yep.
And we gave him that life, you know?
Yeah.
I mean.
And I remember he said, not very often you can recommend salmon to anyone. And I said, our chef Ken is to us from Chopped, and his specialty is seafood. So
from Chopped, the show?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
I didn't know
on
that.
Chopped, and he has a real love for seafood. And I said, I'm going to recommend the salmon to you. And I saw him a little bit later and he said that was a brilliant recommendation of salmon.
Wow.
So
he loves seafood.
Yeah.
He loved
did.
to have that.
Yeah,
and
he did.
And he would have a steak and, and it's interesting that, 10 years ago, nobody had steak on the menu. Filet mignon. Nobody had that. Now almost
lobster tail.
Almost all of them have it now. Yeah. It's kind of amazing that that's like a staple now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, growing up in this industry, now that you've seen, how we've kind of come up through it in the last 10 and 15 to 10 years, what would you say? I feel like the competition is really strong, and what they compete with is food quality. They compete with who they're going to bring in for entertainment. That, these are the kind of things. It's not so much the price, because almost everybody, I mean, even if you're in a high-end product, the high-end products are pretty much all the same.
Yep.
Then you go to a medium or a modest. They're all pretty much that price point, right? So now we're not competing with price, but what we're competing with is the chef that's really, really good, the staff that's really good.
I agree. I think that food speaks with our seniors. It really does. It's very important for them. A lot of them, if they're coming from their home, that's the only thing they were kind of living for during their day. They didn't have a lot of other things,
or they weren't eating well.
They weren't eating well, and this is a social time. Too. Our menu in our assisted living is the exact same menu as in our beautiful independent living, and
same kitchen, same cook,
same exact choices. 28 choices for dinner. I think that is a big one. I really feel people are going with their guts a little more now. They're walking in, they're looking. They're more educated through people like you that are helping them find. But they're walking in, they've got their questions kind of printed out, but when it comes down to it, they're looking at the residents when they're walking in. They're looking in their eyes. They're looking to what they're doing. What are they wearing? What are they eating?
How well are they dressed? Are their clothes clean? Those kinds of things. One of the things that I'm really noticing is that when they walk in, and I know you know this, when they walk in, if we can be the matchmaker that we are, if we're good at our matchmaking, it just feels right in their stomach, like in their gut, right?
And I will tell you, I don't know if too many people you've brought to me at the different communities I've been at, because I've been at a couple since we met, that it hasn't been a great match. I think that's your insightfulness that's bringing people to me. But you also know when you come to me, that I'm going to understand what you're talking about, and we're going to already know that we're on the same page.
Well,
so
and
it's
also
nice.
I'm super, super confident that if I can't be there with them, I'm handing them off to a great person, right? That's not going to pressure them. That's going to meet their needs, going to go slow, going to, make sure that it's not a sales job, right? We don't want that with these folks, because we want them to feel comfortable in asking questions. And if they want to go home at night and they want to think about it, then they can. But when we can get them to the right place, and that's really, I train a lot of my advisors like that. All of us on my whole team, I've got 7 right now, and we constantly talk about what the communities are like. We're in and out of them. We make sure we know what those good we continually expand our knowledge base, which we don't just work on the West Side. We don't just work in Arizona. We work in other states. So I know the entire state of Arizona. I've literally been in almost all of them.
I believe it.
Right? I mean, not maybe with a client, but I go on my own and go look at them, or my advisors do. So we make sure that we know them. That's that matchmaking. That's how we know to matchmake.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right? And I know you and I have talked a couple times where it's like, my sister property, La Sienna may be a better fit, for what they want.
And it's interesting. Why do we do that? Because it's a different group of people at that one than there are at Maravilla. There's a different group of people at Revel. We talked about Revel on another podcast. There's a different group of people at a different community. And when we know the kind of people that are there, that are living there, and it's like, oh, I know that personality, that would be perfect in there. Right. So that's kind of, what we do.
It's good that we also get to know each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then we've got that trust too.
And we all gravitate to each other, right? The people that really care.
We really do.
That really have a calling and that really care about where they're going and how they're going to thrive. We all gravitate to each other. There's, not everybody's like us, right?
Right. It's interesting. I think one of the main things that I come away with a lot of times is, you asked about the community I'm at now. My word for it is gracious. And that encompasses a lot of...
There's even communities called gracious living.
Yeah. But I think our community
very
truly
gracious.
embodies through our independent living and our assisted living is a gracious community.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting because so many people talk about, what are the objections of people moving in and different things. And I think when it's done right, when people come into a community, there isn't an objection.
Right.
All they have to do is make sure it feels right.
And now it's just planning and getting the things
You got
done.
it. Yeah. And helping with their transition.
Right.
Right.
And we do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've got 2 moving coordinators now on property that, that have been there. One of them's been there since before we opened.
Right. Wow.
And
that's 14 years, 16 years?
May of 2012. Yeah.
Okay.
We just had our anniversary party on the 6th. So,
okay. Good.
Yes. Live music and dancing and lots of great foods. So
wow. Well, Tracey, you know what? We're done.
I know.
If you can believe it.
No,
that was
it was
25
easy.
minutes. But thank you so much for coming. That was
always
great.
a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. I want you to know that you can always go to aplaceforseniors.org. And then, of course, take a look at Maravilla Scottsdale. That's where Tracey is from. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time.